Hey y'all, this is your girl Tysheen and I'm back with another video. Another video. Ooh, I need a stretch. Ooh. Anyway, so I'm gonna be reacting to why I left Africa for Europe. Oh my. So this is by, I forgot his name. I have his name written down, but hopefully I'm pronouncing it. His name is Tayo. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I hate when I'm pronouncing someone's name wrong. I think it's Teo. Yeah, Teo Aina. I know he probably gonna watch this video, but like, what the hell is she saying? Aina? Is it Aina? Aina? Probably is. Anyway, I know that he mentioned in his other video that he's from Nigeria. So yeah, so this one is why I left Africa for Europe. So we're gonna watch his video and see why he left, because I'm curious.
A few months ago, I packed up my bags and left my home in Nigeria, where I had lived all my life, to live in Portugal, a country I had never been to and knew nobody. I'm going to Europe. Lagos was where I'd grown up and where my friends, family, and almost everybody I knew lived. It's also where I built my film career and grew this amazing community. So why on earth did I do this?
I feel like that's gonna be me. I'm sorry, y'all. I feel like that's gonna be me. I'm going to leave everything and start a new life in another country. I'm not sure, I don't know where, but it's gonna be scary. It's gonna be fun, scary, but I don't know. We'll see.
I've always been interested in seeing the world. I can remember vividly when I was younger, I imagined a life where I would travel the world for a living. Sadly, this platform didn't exist then, so I chalked it up as wishful thinking and never imagined it was gonna be possible. My journey started with me traveling across Nigeria, which is my home country, to exploring Africa and now visiting Europe for the first time. To give some context, I've been living in Lagos for most of my life and only really started traveling 3 years ago. And within those past 3 years, I've been able to see a large part of my continent. Europe was never really on my list of places to see because I believed, one, getting a Schengen visa with a Nigerian passport was going to be super difficult. Two, it was new territory, and as much as I've heard about it, I was kind of afraid of what to expect. Lastly, my audience is predominantly African, so would they want me to explore somewhere else? This last point locked me in an infinite loop that made me believe that I shouldn't step outside Africa to see more of the world, so I never really bothered to apply for a visa, and every time an opportunity came up, I always had an excuse about why I should not go. This line of thought led to an internal battle with myself for most of 2022, and to be honest, I have been really struggling to make videos.
So yeah, starting off, so wait, sorry. On this side and on this side, okay, let's roll that.
The joy and enthusiasm I once felt to explore when I started out was no longer there, and it was replaced by just continually making the same content over and over and over again. Just because, well, that was all I believe I knew how to do.
That's how I feel too. Even though I make these type of videos, I want to experience these. I want to experience it in person, not just watching videos. Like, I want to go in the same direction that he's going to. Like, I want to do the same thing. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I have faith. It's gonna happen.
As humans, we sometimes lock ourselves up in imaginary prisons by the parameters we set up for ourselves. We feel we shouldn't draw outside the lines or venture further because that seems very uncomfortable, or because we are scared of what other people might think. As my videos were being celebrated by you guys outside, I was fighting an internal battle inside, asking myself, what next? To the world, I was living an incredible life, visiting new countries every other month and documenting amazing experiences. So why then was I feeling so lost? Eventually, I got to my breaking point and decided, fuck it. I needed to just get back on the road and leave this place I called home. And whatever happened, I was going to welcome the experience. This process eventually led me to applying for a visa at the embassy in Lagos. Yeah, my passport finally came in, and guess what? I got the visa. I got the European visa. Something I had told myself over the years that was going to be impossible eventually came through in 1 week. I'm going to Europe. The next day I got on the first flight to Italy. This led me to traveling across Europe, visiting Germany, Switzerland, Netherlands, and finally ended up in Lisbon, Portugal. The first thing I noticed about Portugal was how slow and relaxed people are here. It's like nobody is in a rush for anything and everybody takes their time, which is really different from Lagos, Nigeria, where it seems like everybody is always in a rush or something.
Yeah, especially here in America. Well, I should say New York. Here, everybody's in a rush.
This was happening. I'm out here in Lisbon, experiencing the beautiful weather. And it's so nice here, man. I think in all the European countries, Portugal has one of the best weathers out there. If you go to Germany now, it's probably going to be very cold. Most trips are done this year involve me traveling to a place with some form of storyline. You know, I usually have an idea of what I want to film when I get there. During this trip, I was more interested in immersing myself in the moment and just being here now. No plan whatsoever of what next. One of the most important parts of traveling for me are usually the people I meet along the way. My interactions and experiences with different people in a country greatly influence my perception of what the place was going to be like. It also makes me experience a country more deeply. I reached out to a fellow travel YouTuber whose work I admire, and he was down to meet up. So guys, I'm meeting up with a friend I actually met online. His name is Bernardo, and he's from Portugal. Hello! What's up, how are you? Nice to meet you. I think across all my 5 countries I visited in Europe, I would say the people in Portugal are actually the friendliest. They have a way of making you feel really at home, like you are part of the community, as compared to other European countries I've been to, like Germany.
That's nice.
This is like the most famous spot to get this sort of pastry.
Guys, the line to get this is very long, so you better be worth it. It has to be worth it.
It's gonna be worth it.
Okay. The first food item he gave me to try out was a Portuguese cake called pastel de nata. This is what everybody was lining up for, and we were able to finally get ours. And to get the full experience, we need to dust it down with some cinnamon.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You like it?
It's really nice. I saw people are lining up.
I want some now. Oh.
Portugal has a very interesting history with Africa, which I would like to mention. They were the first Europeans to set sail to Nigeria, and they were involved in trading spices, spirits, and many other items, including people. They also colonized many countries in Africa which speak Portuguese today. I did a video where I asked a lot of Europeans to mention an African country, and from what I saw, a lot of people mentioned countries that were colonized by Portugal.
Cape Verde, Angola,
Mozambique.
During the 15th and 16th centuries, Portugal became a leading European power in terms of economic, political, and cultural influence. There's even a city called Lagos in Portugal, which I didn't get a chance to visit, and that was where Lagos, the main business hub of Nigeria, was named after. Since the majority of my audience are Africans, I felt there might be a bittersweet feeling watching this and feeling some type of way about Portugal due to the slave history. This video isn't meant to be a history lesson, it's meant to be about my experience in Portugal. So let's get back on track. Lisbon has really narrow streets and it's also very hilly. Most times I wonder how most cars are able to drive through the impossible gaps. We arrived at an abandoned building which used to be one of the best restaurants but was shut down some years back. I'm looking at all the artworks on the wall. Portugal has a very vibrant art scene with some of the most incredible artworks I've ever seen. Being here just reminded me of how fleeting moments are in life and why we need to cherish them while we have them, because things will eventually change. Alfama. This is the oldest neighborhood of Lisbon, spreading on the slope between the São Jorge Castle and the Tagus River. It's also where I stayed while I was here, as it's close to almost everything: restaurants, bars, docks, and the train station. Did I mention that almost everything in Lisbon is less than 30 minutes away? It was a different feeling as somebody who came from a place where you had to travel long hours to get to everything. One of the great things about Portugal is also the lower cost of living. It's much cheaper to live here than across most countries in Europe, which is why there has been an influx of people over the years, which has led to the rent skyrocketing. A one-bedroom apartment here used to cost around 700 euros per month, but now in Lisbon it costs around 1,400, which is almost double the price. I guess I'm not the only one who loves the slow life in Porto. We're out here in Lisbon. We're having breakfast. I'm here with my G.
Some sweet lemonade.
I got my
Yeah, can you I don't even know why I don't even know why I'm acting surprised. Everywhere is just going up because of course people are moving to some of these countries and the prices are going to go up. Same thing here in New York. Even though New York was always pricey, but it's like triple pricey here. Like, it's crazy. Like, if you want a one-bedroom apartment here in New York, you better have at least you better be able to pay maybe $2,000 to $3,000 a month for one bedroom, I think, or maybe it could be more than that. But yeah, it's expensive. But everywhere it's starting to get very expensive.
My guy from Nigeria, you know, it's just here. It's in Lagos, Nigeria. He's trying to get fuel here. Have you got some fuel now? Yeah. Thank you.
Ooh, that look good. But that rice needs some gravy or something. I don't want to eat dry rice.
Went to a spot that had a monument called the Monument of Discoveries. Currently behind me is this big monument that basically talks about their journey and their voyage, how they traveled across the world, capturing different countries and territories. As an African, when I say discoveries, you should know what I mean. The cool part though was that this was one of the best spots to watch the sunset, and it was a perfect end to an amazing day. One thing traveling to Europe has taught me about myself is that I really find joy in the simple things of life, like taking a walk down the street.
So calm and quiet. I'm just taking a morning walk, kind of like around town.
Or having a morning coffee, or just watching the sunset and being in the moment. For somebody who lives in Lagos, which is the most popular city in Africa, it's so easy to get lost in the chase of money and what's next that we forget to be present. What does this all really mean? Is this even a travel vlog anymore? I think traveling to Portugal has finally given me a reason to slow down and live in the present. Not the past, not the future, but the present. The way of life here is so slow that you easily get immersed into it and just start.
That's one of the reasons why I want to leave too. I want to leave New York. I want to leave America. I want to go to a different country. I want to be able to just relax and just enjoy the present, stop worrying about stuff. Just relax. That's all I want. Just to live somewhere and just relax. That's it. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Living.
I think something very special about the Portuguese people is that we really know how to enjoy all the little moments. I feel like most of the world nowadays are always looking after the next thing.
Yep.
And they don't really stop to enjoy the moment or to enjoy all they have conquered so far. They're always after the next thing. And I feel like Portuguese people in general, of course, they know how to appreciate everything they have done so far. Myself, I do feel very proud of everything I've done so far, and I'm not always like, okay, what's the next thing to do? I think that's something very special about the Portuguese culture.
One of my favorite quotes about life is from the Portuguese poet Fernando Pessoa. I always live in the present. The future I can't know. The past I no longer have. Portugal is a place that forces you to slow down and just be in the moment. It's currently not a super rich country, but it makes up for it in its calmer way of life. I believe I'm at the stage in my life where after spending so much of my 20s making videos, I'm walking into a new chapter where I want to create things I love and I'm passionate about. I feel like the next stage for me is to tell stories that I personally connect with and that makes me happy while being in the moment. I also want to not overthink things anymore, which is me kind of getting out of my own way. Before I started out on this trip, I wasn't really in the best place mentally. I was dealing with a lot of questions and anxiety about what the next step was. It's a moment like this that I remember one of my favorite words from Steve Jobs, where he says,
"You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards."
This is going to be a whole new and refined chapter in our relationship, and I'm really thankful for this amazing community that we have on here. We started out at 4+ years ago, and we currently are over 500,000 in this amazing community. Thank you guys. I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned this year is that life moves pretty fast. but it can also be pretty slow at times, and that if we don't tune in and take a second to focus on the things that ground us and take a moment to be with ourselves, we'll miss out on the most important part of it. That being said, hope you guys enjoy this video. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. See you guys on the next one. Peace.
Such a lovely guy. Oh my God, very nice guy. I love his spirit. I like how to, I just love his energy. Just definitely love it. That's why when I first watched his first video, I was like, I have to subscribe to his channel right away because I could relate in so many ways. And the stuff that he thinks about, stuff that I think about too, about life. Like the fact that he just doing it. He's like, you know what? He said, fuck it. Pack his stuff and he just got up. And I wish I could just do that, but I have a child. I can't just pack up and just go. I wish I could. I wish. Because he never mentioned anything about having kids or anything like that. So, but if I didn't have a child and it was just me alone, I would have been packed up and just left, just leave. But I'll definitely watch more of his videos. I love his video. I love learning from different people, learning from their experience. And yeah, make sure you go over there and subscribe to his channel too. Okay, make sure you subscribe to his channel. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And make sure you check these videos out. And I'll see you lovely people. Take care. Be safe out there. Peace.